All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praises and glory and honors to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakak Wadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, the Bayath Awadah, the house of David. All right, so we're just going to start off in some scriptures first and foremost, and then I got a video for you brothers, right? And the video was from like about 5 years back, but it's really a go over type of video. It's really a rehearsing video and showing you, right, the things that we're talking about, the things that are coming, you see, and understanding the times that we're living in, right? So this is Jeremiah 30:7. It says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." You see? Now let me go here real quick. Before we get Daniel 12:1, I want to go to Timothy, right? 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, in the first verse. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come." Now, let's go back to here, Daniel 12:1, right? Daniel 12:1, it says, "And at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to the same time. At that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book." Right, and that's Jeremiah. That's Jeremiah 30:7, which is Jacob's trouble. You see, Gurga troops, martial law, right? Uproars of the people. You see, there's going to be so many things. Concentration camps. There's going to be so many things going on. Red list, yellow, red list, blue list, yellow list, like we talked about. Those that oppose the New World Order, those that go against it will be put to death. You see, these things. Why you think they got auto ab KO, right? Order comes out of chaos, man. And that's what they talk about. Talking about the super elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, right? And these things of that nature, the Wahlbergs, the Bilderbergs, the Mancinis, right? And these are the things that they have. And these are the things they have going on, right? Caskets, guillotines, right? Shipping centers in there, torture rooms, right? And all these things of that nature, man. You see, we living in some serious, serious times right now, man. This ain't no time to be joking and playing games and laughing and having fun. We ain't in that time right now, man. Right? We're not in that time. You see? As a matter of fact, let's go here to Ecclesiastes real quick. Okay? Ecclesiastes 3. It says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Right? So let's go down to here. Okay? It says this, right? "A time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." And eventually these devils is coming for war against you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, really the whole world, man. Right? Because they want to bring in this new world order. Right? They want to chip everybody on the planet, man. You see? They want total control over everything, man. Everything. Right? They want track, trace, and control. They want eyeballs on everything. Cameras, right? Drones, right? Palantir, Gideon. What do you think the Patriots Act 1, Patriots Act 2 is all about, man? What do you think TIA is all about? The Total Information Awareness Program, right? You see? So these things are deadly serious. What we telling you up here, man. This ain't no joke. This ain't no game. Right? This ain't no laughing matter, because the devil is about to come down with great wrath, man. You see? Knowing that he got but a short time. Okay? Now let me get you this here. Right? In Matthew, right? The book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. Okay? Well, yeah, we'll start right here. We'll start at verse number 7. Let's start at verse number 7. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Right? You see? Okay, hold on. Let me get this here. Let me put it in here. Right? Matthew 21. Matthew 24 and 21, Salakia says, "For there shall be great tribulation, such as not since the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be." Right? You see? So this thing's getting ready to come. Right here, it says right here, let's start up here at 20 real quick. It says, "But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day." Right? Okay? So these things are going down, man. All right? Let me get this here in Revelation 12 and 12. Right? Revelation 12 and 12. It says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, where the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time." You see? Because this devil know he got a short time. Let me get you Revelation 2 and 10. Right? It says, "Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried." Tried by what? That ship. Right? Your faith is going to be put on trial, man. The Most High is going to test you. He's going to find out, are you true? Are you really a servant? Are you really about this thing? Right? Are you willing to take death? Right? To believe in what you stand for, man. To believe in His name and on the Heavenly Father's name, in Yahweh Shem Yahshua. Do you believe in Yahweh Shem Yahshua? We're gonna put you to the test, man. All right. "And ye shall have tribulation 10 days, and be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life." Right? So that's how we know that the whole world is going to be tried by what? That RFID microchip. It says, "Because thou," Revelation 3 and 10, "because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will also keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth." So now, after we got them scriptures out the way, right? And then I got one more in the midst, right? Let's play this. It says, "Auto ab KO, FEMA camps, riots, and deep undercover military bases." You see? It's like I told you, this is an old video, but the point of the video is showing you, okay, what we're talking about, what the things that are coming, and the things that are going to happen, right? In the times that you're living in, that this is not a joke, right? Let's play this.
Readiness Exercise 1984, also known as Rex 84, oddly enough aligns with George Orwell's 1984, was a top-secret classified scenario where a large number of citizens are detained in camps by the United States government. The drill gives FEMA the green light to detain large groups of people deemed as national security threats in detainment centers in the case of a national threat or big emergency. These camps are said to be surrounded with barbed wire fences facing inwards, security cameras, scanners, helipads, and even watchtowers looking over the perimeter. The militarization of the police force has expanded over the past few decades. This has become increasingly evident with soldiers and police cadets training together in exercises, and also training overseas in Israel. The police force training with the military would have been unheard of 50 years ago, but now it has just become common. This is because of the agenda to establish a one-world army to keep people in line with the authority. Recently, in just the last decade, police brutality has risen, and when the people fight back, they are detained and thrown in jail. It should be known that there are a lot of good, honest, hardworking police officers who do want to do good, but there are also a lot of
And we've been seeing a lot of this, right? Because, as you know, DJ Trump, Nero 47, has militarized the police force, right? Even with going back to Joe Biden, right? They were militarizing the police force. And they are militarizing the police force for what? For these times. You see? And it's beautiful. Look at that. It stopped at 144. Hey, call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Hey, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? So, let's continue on.
egotistical cops who are maniacs. The police state is only going to be more militarized until it is indistinguishable, and this will most likely play a role in the detaining of civilians in Fema camps. With all the recent rioting that's been going on, it does seem like there is an attempt to make order out of chaos, where on one side you have a group of these, I'd hate to use the term leftist, but I'm going to have to use it. You have these leftist, brainwashed individuals, these cultural Marxist idiots, and then they're fighting the police, which is also militarized. So the police has to respond by becoming more militarized. And it's just a mess. And of course it all gets blamed on white supremacists who are nowhere to be found in any of these riots, but okay, that's just how it is. To my knowledge, it appears that these camps are going to be implemented for the use of housing individuals in the result of a national catastrophe, a possible Third World War or disaster, or even a flu pandemic like what we're seeing with COVID, is going to take place where FEMA will step in to help people in a great time of need. FEMA is going to offer food, water, shelter, protection, and services, such as quarantine maybe, for anybody in need. Then, slowly but surely, it will go from an optional choice in time of need to a mandatory state where you must comply or face consequences. Now, I live in Washington State, and Governor Jay Inslee just implemented this rule where you have to wear a mask. Every individual in the state has to wear a mask, or they will face up to 90 days in jail.
You know, see, I told you this is an old video, but the point I wanted to show you is about these FEMA camps and about the things that are happening and how they're fully operational and staffed, man. All right, so he's gonna bring up some old things here, but the point, this is the point. All right, okay. Let me see. Let me just continue on here.
$1,000 fine. If that isn't tyrannical, then how are we defining tyrannical at this point? Whoever poses as a threat to this one-world regime will most likely be seen as a threat in the eyes of the rulers, and those individuals will be placed into these camps to be disposed of. Anyone opposing this one-world system will not...
Right, like I spoke about the red list, the blue list, the yellow list, right? The red list and the blue list are people who are against the New World Order, Rex 84, right? As you understand, you see, and many different other things that they have, right? So let's continue to keep playing.
be a part of it, and that is by any means necessary. There is an agenda at play. We should not underestimate the lengths.
See? And we always talk about the RFID microchip. And like I told you, and I stated to you that they're going to have chipping centers within these concentration camps, man. You see? You get hauled off into a concentration camp, they're going to chip you. You understand?
The rulers of our world will go to in order to establish their one world order that they've so desperately been working towards to achieve. Honestly, I find it highly plausible that these camps are intended for those like myself and millions of others who are free thinkers and are not going to go along and conform with the one world system. As of right now, all we can do is try to wake up as many people as possible, and we can hope to make a change. And by the way, just to clarify, I'm not trying to scare anyone here. Okay, I'm not trying to freak anyone out by saying that if you have a dissident voice, you're going to be put in a Fema camp and killed. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just pointing out that this is an agenda. It's a documented agenda, and it seems to be a plan that they have. So, I'm just trying to get the information to you, and we need to be aware of this and understand it. So if something like this does happen, we will be ready.
What we are witnessing all across America and the rest of the world right now is pure chaos. People are sitting in their homes right now, watching the news, or driving somewhere in their car with a mask on.
All right, so let's go to a different one. Right? Let's see what we got here. Let's see what else we got here. Right?
Colonel North, in your work at the NSC, were you not assigned at one time to work on plans for the continuity of government in the event of a major disaster? Mr. Chairman.
I believe that question touches upon a highly sensitive and classified area, so may I request that you not touch upon that, sir?
I was particularly concerned, Mr. Chairman, because I read in Miami papers and several others that there had been a plan developed by that same agency, a contingency plan in the event of emergency that would suspend the American Constitution. And I was deeply concerned about it and wondered if that was the area in which he had worked. I believe that he was.
May I most respectfully request that that matter not be touched upon at this stage. If we wish to get into this, I'm certain arrangements can be made for an executive session.
No God conspiracy. That's what it is. You don't believe me? Get it for yourself. Just give it to him again. Give it to him again. Look.
See what else we got. All right. Oh, let's play this one.
A van pulled alongside of me that turned out to be the property owner. I was pulled to the side road, which was
Look, FEMA coffins and proof of FEMA camp plans. Right now, this is old. It's about damn near close to 20 years, but they have these things in the making, right?
A new cut gravel dirt road in front of a business, a builder supply business, actually top-notch builder supply in Madison, Georgia. To my right, this was a previously was a soybean field, and this little new cut road divided this field, and the right side of the road was filled with, which I thought was portable toilets. I never looked at them that close. Same in color, maybe black, but which was an odd color. And I was sitting there going over my notes, and a van pulled alongside of me. It turned out to be the property owner. And he greeted me, and he was by himself, and so we had a good little dialogue there, and I asked him about the field of black boxes. What were they? Because I'd never seen anything like that, and his statement was that if he told me, I would be one of few people in Madison, Georgia, that knew about them. And he says they're disposable coffins, I believe he told me. And he says there's 100, at that time, he said there was 125,000 there. They were stacked, he told me 15 high. I asked him who owned them, and he stated that the CDC owned them and that they were leasing the land, leasing his land for storage. And he said his brother worked with the CDC in Atlanta and had been asked by the CDC to do a 3-year extension to place temporary morgues all across the nation.
Right. Let me get this here scripture, and then we go back and finish playing some of that. Right. So 2 Ezra chapter 16. Right. And we'll start at verse number 70. It says, "For there shall be in every place and in the next cities great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord." Right? They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. But they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. All right. It says, "Hear, O ye, my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your guide, and the guide of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith the Lord Yahweh. Let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." All right. So, okay. So, hey, man, these are some serious times that we getting ready to. Some serious times that we living in, man. We're gonna play a little bit more of this when we're gonna close up.
So in January of this year, 2005, we decided to drive to beautiful Madison, Georgia, and take a look for ourselves. It was on a Sunday and no one was around, with the exception of this one pickup truck that was coming out the narrow road that we were going in on next to this field. We flagged down the pickup truck, and it was providential that the driver of this pickup truck turned out to be the son of the man that owned this field. So naturally, we started asking him questions. And he told us that not long ago, there had been as many as 500,000 of these grave liners or disposable coffins. We asked him for permission if we could look around, and he said yes. So we did.
We're just getting an idea for the size of these boxes. What could these boxes be used for? Well, they're called casket liners. And that's an interesting term, isn't it? It's a casket liner. When I first heard the term casket liner, I thought perhaps a lining for a casket. But this is too big to be on the inside of a casket. So certainly this could be used as a casket. This is an inexpensive casket. And you can see the size here. There's lots of room. I think my friends here, we could all probably get inside. It might be a little cozy, but we'd fit just fine. Which tells me that these liners can be used for more than just one. And one more time, what kind of liners are these?
Casket liners.
These are casket liners.
That's what the man said.
That's what the man told us. And we're told that there were about 500,000 out here.
Later, as I went back to my home office, I spoke of it there, and of course, people usually don't want to hear too much about this kind of thing. So it's never been mentioned, publicly, except just here and there, till I went to a luncheon, a fundraiser for Representative Saxby Chambliss. He was running for his second term for the U.S. House of Representatives. And it was a crowd, probably 100, maybe 150. It was congressmen, senators, state senators, and mayors. There was one table we probably had 2 3-star generals and a couple of 1-star with their spouses. So it was a real high-powered meeting. But the keynote speaker was a congressman, and I don't remember his name. He'd just been in the House for a long time, and he was the chairman of the Armed Services Committee. And so he just spoke in behalf of Representative Chambliss and the importance of having him on board to be reelected due to our threats. But it had to do with the nuclear devices that was missing from the old Soviet Union, and it had gotten into terrorist hands, and it was, the emphasis was on the critical state that we face in this country, and he said we could lose tens of millions of people in the next decade, and he used those terms, due to a nuclear strike on U.S. soil. And I was sitting there, and it became very clear to me that that could very well explain why just weeks, could be 2 to 3 weeks prior to that meeting, that I had stumbled upon these, at that time, 125,000 disposable liners or caskets or coffins or whatever they could be termed as in that soybean field in Madison, Georgia.
Now, what we've just seen is one United States city outside, this is Atlanta, it has a metropolitan population area of roughly 4 million people. So this is one field outside of one U.S. city. And the brother of the man that owns this field, that the government is leasing this field from to store these disposable coffins, this brother was given 3 years to set up temporary morgues around the country. Now, we found the website that we think these disposable coffins were made at, and we noticed that the lids that they're advertising on the website were rounded. But the lids, hundreds of thousands of lids there, the lids we found, folks, were flat, and they were reinforced. You know what that could mean? You can stack them on top of each other. That's a lot neater to stack them in disposable coffins than what we saw after the tsunami, when we would see bulldozers digging holes and taking bodies and pushing bodies into holes. America can stomach this much better.
All right. Let me see if we got one more. I think that's pretty much it, That's pretty much it. So, with that, we're just going to close up. We're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakah Kodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and Ruel. Peace and blessings and citations to the hopeful elect, the Bayat Dawadah, the house of David. Shalom.